Get me a good little fire going. Baby's ready to cook some chow on that thing. Nice and warm. Toasty on a chilly night. Today I wanted to talk to you about one of the nifty little gadgets that we used to use. Is a rake. It's one of the nifty little things we used to carry on the long-range surveillance teams and during long-range reconnaissance patrols and long-range surveillance missions. The assistant team leader would carry a little rake like this, or he would carry a small broom. And if we didn't have any of that, he'd break off some pine boughs or something and use that kind of like a brush or a rake. And you use it for counter tracking, right? When you're crossing trails, crossing danger areas, and you're leaving footprints, and the bad guys are following you, you want to be able to wipe out using stuff like this little hand rake and snuff out all the footprints behind you. It doesn't have to be clear. They're still going to know you were there because you're going to leave sign. A 6-man recon team is going to leave trace. It's really hard not to do, especially if you're moving fast and you got to get somewhere by first light, by dawn. So the trackers, the bad guys that were tracking you, they might find your trail, but they wouldn't be able to get all the identifying information, which is critical and is so important for trackers and people who are counter tracking to understand. The information comes from the footprints and the amount of footprints in a certain area, and you can box it off and you can kind of tally up how many people you were, and you can tell if they had rucks, if they were moving fast or slow, all kind of information, men and women, walking forward or backwards, all kinds of stuff, right? So that's the critical information that wiping out the trail that you leave with a rake or a little like broom, or even some pine boughs. Take some branches and just scrape them across the trail, wipe out the footprints. That's just a counter tracking technique that was very common, and that goes all the way back to like the Vietnam days with the long range reconnaissance patrols. But we used to do it in the long range surveillance teams, the modern version, to that day. And little things like this, and you'll see the assistant team leaders, they'd be carrying all kind of little tools to help with counter tracking. So think about that if you're leaving a lot of sign. Plus, he's come in handy around the campsite. Take care.